first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming here, just kind of taking time out of your day, your busy morning, to come be with us here. I see some familiar faces. Good to see you all. Also want to thank everyone at the board who kind of made this possible. At the chamber, Michelle, Kathy, Vanessa, probably forgetting a couple names, Joe Beth.
Joe Beth.
Most important one. So anyway, thank you guys for putting that together. First year with the chamber, so I'm super excited to be a part of it. I've been to a couple events so far. My schedule's pretty busy. I'm here pretty much from 6:30, 7 a.m. to like 8 p.m. at night, teaching and running classes, that sort of thing. What got me into jiu-jitsu was I was kind of getting into trouble in Vietnam. I was about 15 years old, and my parents were like, no, you're not doing this. You're going to live with your brother who had just gotten out of the military in 29 Palms. So moved out here, started going to school here in Palm Springs. And I was pretty motivated to train just because my brother was trying to be a professional fighter, so I saw that, and to me that was like, oh, like this guy trains hard, like he looks good, like respectable figure. So I didn't really have any discipline, so anything that I started, like guitar, skating, whatever it was, I just kind of like fell off, right? You just kind of fall back into your habits. So fast forward to November 2019 when I got my black belt. From my brother through my senseis, Shanji and Salo Hibero, who were super decorated in the jiu-jitsu community. Looking at all these students and people in front of me, it was like a super emotional moment because in a flash, I had to kind of like swallow the person that was 15 years ago and then the person that I am today. And it's still kind of emotional for me because it's a really, it was just like a huge transformation from like a kid that like probably didn't think he was gonna make it to 30 all the way to someone that's like, man, I have students, I have like kids who look up to me, I have family, I have people I work with, I have a purpose in life, all these sort of things. So that really drove me to now try to spread that message of the power of martial arts. All I had to do was really like be interested enough to show up. And the first 3 months I didn't even like it because I was a kid and they put me in the adult class. So I'm like a 15, 16-year-old just kind of getting like thrown around by adults. So who would like that, right? I'd rather play video games. But then a few months in, like I was able to do my first submission, which if you don't know, like you make the person tap. And the guy was like 30 years old, he was a kickboxer. I'm like, man, this guy looks kind of strong. And then I made him tap out. So for me, that was like a huge confidence boost in the sense of like, shoot, I'm like some little punk, scrawny kid, but like I can make an adult submit. And that kind of motivated me to fight and train and do tournaments. And then over the course of my time training, I kind of just viewed jiu-jitsu as a sport. So if you ask me like, oh, why do you do it? Like I like taking people down and choking them. And then like if you ask me now, it's totally changed because like the senseis I met, they taught me like, no, this isn't jiu-jitsu, the sport, this is martial arts. This is like how do we like design a better life for ourselves, right? If you guys are familiar with judo, the guy who created judo, he actually created it from jiu-jitsu. So jitsu, judo, it's the same root word, which means like soft and gentle. Do represents life, or like way, like the way of life. Jitsu just refers to the technique. So Jigoro Kano, the guy that founded judo, his understanding was like, hey, the principles that we need to use for jiu-jitsu are actually how we should live a better life, right? We should be physically, emotionally, spiritually disciplined, and use this concept of training yourself and improving daily, and an idea of mutual prosperity to create a better society. So that really stuck with me, and now that's really my purpose is every person, and especially kids that we can get to start doing jiu-jitsu, you're gonna see like much more confident, strong leaders who don't really get bullied, who don't really get into trouble because they know like, hey, my goal is to train and improve myself. And that's really like the best way that I feel to help like your community is just by trying to be a little bit better. And martial arts is certainly a vehicle. I was speaking with one of the members here about how she does martial arts too. She actually trains jiu-jitsu also. And she was saying like, man, I wouldn't train, I wouldn't be like have good nutrition or any of that stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm the same. Like people think I'm super healthy. I love Coca-Cola. And to me, I'm like, well, you know what? I trained super hard this week. I'm gonna have that. So it really helps me like find balance in my life. Not even just in a physical sense, but especially in like an emotional and spiritual sense, because you have to have good relationships with the people around you, your family, your students, the people you work with, just to create like a good kind of like ecological system for yourself. So one of the things that we're doing at this event is we partnered up with Sheltering for Life. Am I saying that right?
Sheltering Palms.
Sheltering Palms for Life. Just like jiu-jitsu for life. So we're partnering up with Sheltering Palms. They're a adoption agency.
Foster agency and foster to adoption.
Here she is, to the rescue. Okay, so this is Janie, who I speak with a lot. I bug her on the phone every other day. Do you want to?
Well, I work for Sheltering Homes Foster Family Agency, and we've been here 17 years here in Indio, because I've been with the company almost 17 years. And but our main office is in San Jacinto, so we're trying to recruit foster families here in the Coachella Valley, because there is a great need for foster families. Every time they call us, well, we don't have vacancies for these kids, so we kind of have to turn them down. So some of the homes, they only want one child, only two, and we're trying to, the families that do have kids, and their opening is only one, and they could take 2 or 3, we're calling them, can you please, we need to place this child. So we really do need foster families here in the Coachella Valley. So if you know anybody or you're interested, come see me. We really need you.
Awesome. And from experience, I have a student who actually, he just adopted a son who I think is around the age of 2. And then one of the social workers asked him if, hey, could you watch this kid for 10 days? And he ended up adopting her too. And the son's too young, obviously, to be in our program. Or maybe not, obviously. We start at ages 4 to 6. But the girl, she's, I think, 11 or 12. And so now she's in our program. And as a result, her niece is part of our program. So just seeing kids that maybe didn't grow up in like such a good environment, having access, having someone that's going to sponsor them to like, hey, you're going to, commit to this way of life. That I think that's really powerful, and we like to see it. So moving forward, for anybody that is interested, we do take sponsorships, and my long-term goal really is like, how do we incorporate martial arts into the school system? Because to me, my competition's not with other academies. If you're training jiu-jitsu or you're training some sort of martial art, like that's awesome. And we refer people out all the time. To me, my competition is with sports, because sports I feel should be teaching a lot of the lessons that martial arts does. But if you're a coach, like you got to win. So it's not really their fault. Like their job is centered around winning, and that doesn't always cater to like jiu-jitsu. I could care less if you're a champion or you win, as long as like, hey, this kid's learning discipline, they're learning confidence, they're learning respect, and things that like after school they can actually like become a professional with. Which actually, I have a book coming out in the next couple months about becoming a professional. So that's my plug. So again, thank you guys. I'm gonna pass it to. I didn't get a water ball chucked at me, so.
You did good.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
What I ask the most is, what is the difference between jiu-jitsu and other forms of martial arts? Okay, well, most forms of martial arts are striking based. So that means if you're gonna punch me, I can run, right? If you're gonna hit me, I can run. Okay, when someone grabs you, that's different. And especially for women, you are typically attacked by grabs, not by punches, right? A guy will go sucker punch another guy. A girl's typically gonna get grabbed by her purse, her elbow, her hair, her shoulder. And when someone grabs you and you can't get away, that's a completely different sensation than someone that's gonna go run and kick you and punch you or throw a bottle at you. So that's the easiest way to communicate it, is the gi is actually designed so someone can grab you and you can learn how to deal with that, right? Instead of just like going to panic mode. So what you're gonna see is just a demonstration from all different ages. So we have like kind of our adult, our teen group, and then we have our kind of 7 through 12 group. Don't let their faces fool you. These guys are savage. Okay, go ahead.